I thought I had escaped. That the city had finally let me go. But at midnight, my phone rang again. The same disconnected number. The same breathless silence on the other end. And then, her voice. Soft. Familiar. Wrong. Come find me, she whispered. I'm waiting, where we first met. But we never met on that street. I was sure of it. At least, I thought I was. Yet, her voice had a pull I couldn't resist, like a memory just out of reach. Fading. Warping. I told myself I wouldn't go, that I wasn't that foolish. And yet, somehow, I was already standing there. The street was silent. Too silent. No wind. No distant traffic. The air was thick, heavy, pressing against my skin like unseen hands. The buildings on either side loomed impossibly tall, their windows black voids, watching. I turned my phone's flashlight on, sweeping it over the cracked pavement. And that's when I saw them, footprints. Imprinted in the dust. Fresh. Leading forward, but stopping halfway down the street. Vanishing. As if whoever made them had simply ceased to exist. The air turned colder. Then, just ahead, I saw her. Standing beneath the flickering street lamp. Still. Waiting. I took a step forward. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Another call. The same number. I swallowed hard and answered. Beat. Whispered words through static. Don't trust her. Pause. A slow exhale. The problem was, the voice on the phone was hers. Underscore. The street where lovers vanish. An urban legend whispered among the city's inhabitants. A place where couples enter together, but only one leaves. The other disappears without a trace. I had dismissed it as mere folklore, tales spun to keep people away from the desolate parts of the city. But now, standing here, the weight of those stories pressed down on me. I approached her cautiously. Is it really you? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. She nodded, a sad smile playing on her lips. I've been waiting for you. I reached out, but she took a step back. You shouldn't have come, she murmured. You asked me to, I replied, confusion and fear warring within me. She looked down the street, her expression distant. This place, it takes what it wants. Love isn't a shield here, it's a beacon. Suddenly, the shadows around us seemed to deepen. The air grew colder, and a low hum resonated from the very ground beneath our feet. We need to leave, I said urgently. She shook her head. It's too late. Once you're here, the street decides who stays and who goes. Panic surged. No. I'm not leaving without you. She stepped closer, placing a cold hand on my cheek. Sometimes, love means letting go. Before I could respond, the world around me blurred. Darkness enveloped my vision, and her touch faded. When I came to, I was standing at the entrance of the street, alone. My phone buzzed. A message from her number, remember me. I looked back, but the street was empty, silent as the grave. The legend was real. And I was its latest victim. Underscore. Some streets are better left untraveled. Some love stories better left unfinished. In the city of shadows, some legends are painfully real. In the heart of the city lies a street shrouded in whispers, a place where love meets its end, and the faithful vanish without a trace. They call it the street where lovers vanish. Couples enter together, but only one emerges, the other, lost to the shadows. The street's silence was a suffocating shroud, each step amplifying the weight of unseen eyes. My breath formed fleeting ghosts in the cold night air as I pressed on, the oppressive quiet broken only by the echo of my own footsteps. An unexpected encounter. Then, ahead in the dim glow of a flickering street lamp, I saw them, a young couple, their laughter a fragile melody against the eerie stillness. They walked hand in hand, their closeness a stark contrast to the desolation surrounding us. A sudden shift. As I watched, the woman's laughter faltered. Her eyes widened, reflecting a terror that seemed to freeze time itself. Her grip on her partner's hand tightened, knuckles whitening. The vanishing. In the span of a heartbeat, she was gone. No scream pierced the night, no hurried footsteps echoed away, just an empty space where she had stood moments before. The aftermath. The man remained, his arms still outstretched toward the void beside him. His eyes, hollow and unseeing, slowly turned to meet mine. In a voice barely above a whisper, he spoke. I didn't let go. It still took her. His words hung in the air, a chilling testament to the malevolence that lurked within this cursed street. Narrator, with a tone of grim realization. The legend was no mere tale. The street where lovers vanish claimed its own, indifferent to bonds or vows. And now, its gaze had turned toward me. Intrigued by these murmurs, I delved into the city's archives. Amidst the yellowed pages and fading ink, I uncovered a newspaper clipping from decades past. The headline screamed of mystery. Mysterious disappearances plague local street. The article detailed a series of couples who had walked that path, only for one partner to disappear, leaving the other bewildered and alone. The authorities had no leads, no explanations, just a growing list of the missing. Determined to learn more, I sought out those who might remember. In a dimly lit corner shop, I found an elderly shopkeeper, her eyes clouded with age yet sharp with recollection. When I mentioned the street, her expression darkened. If you hear your name whispered on that street, she warned, her voice barely above a whisper, don't turn around. No matter what you think you hear, keep walking. To acknowledge it is to invite the unknown. Her words lingered with me, a chilling caution echoing the tales I'd uncovered. The legend was no mere story, it was a warning, etched into the very fabric of the city. Urban legends often serve as mirrors, reflecting our deepest fears and unspoken truths. This street, this tale of vanished lovers, speaks to the fragility of connection and the mysteries that lie just beyond our understanding. As I stood at the edge of that infamous path, the weight of countless lost stories pressed upon me, urging caution, yet pulling me inexorably forward. The legend of the street where lovers vanish had taken hold of me, refusing to let go. I couldn't shake the whispers, the warnings, the chilling tales that seemed to echo from every shadowed corner of the city. Determined to uncover the truth, I embarked on a journey into the heart of this enigma. In the stark light of day, I returned to that ominous street. The contrast was jarring, what had been cloaked in darkness and mystery was now laid bare. Yet, the daylight did little to dispel the unease that hung in the air. The buildings stood in various states of disrepair, their facades crumbling, windows shattered or boarded up. The street itself was cracked and uneven, weeds pushing through the asphalt as if nature sought to reclaim this forsaken place. Graffiti marred the walls, not the typical tags or street art, but messages that sent a chill down my spine. Phrases like, "Love lost here," "Turn back," and "She never left," were scrawled in fading paint, accompanied by symbols I couldn't decipher. Despite the sun overhead, the street felt devoid of life. No birds sang, no insects buzzed. The silence was oppressive, broken only by the sound of my own footsteps echoing against the desolate structures. Determined to delve deeper, I sought out those who might have first-hand experience with the legend. After days of inquiries and dead ends, I found him, Daniel, a man in his late 40s, who claimed to have survived an encounter with the street years ago. We met in a dimly lit cafe, the kind where secrets seemed to linger in the air. Daniel's eyes were shadowed, haunted, as if perpetually reliving a nightmare. "We were young," he began, his voice trembling. "Emily and I had heard the stories, but we laughed them off. Thought it would be thrilling to walk that street together, to prove the tales were just that, stories." He paused, staring into his cup as if seeking answers in the dark liquid. We entered hand in hand. At first, it was just a street, nothing unusual. But then, the atmosphere changed. The air grew thick, heavy. Shadows seemed to move, to reach out. Daniel's hands shook as he continued. I heard my name whispered, soft, seductive. I turned to Emily, but she was gone. Just gone. No sound, no sign. I searched, screamed her name, but there was nothing. The street was empty. He looked up, eyes glistening with unshed tears. They never found her. And I've never forgiven myself for turning around. His words echoed the warning I'd received. If you hear your name whispered on that street, don't turn around. My quest for understanding led me to the city's library, a grand old building that seemed to breathe history. After some persuasion, the librarian granted me access to the restricted archives, a dusty room filled with forgotten documents and neglected stories. Hours passed as I sifted through brittle pages until I found it, a leather-bound journal, its cover worn, the initials JD embossed on the front. Opening it carefully, I discovered it belonged to Detective James Donovan, who had investigated the disappearances on the street decades earlier. His entries were meticulous, detailing each case, each lost soul. But as the pages turned, the tone shifted. Donovan wrote of feeling watched, of shadows that seemed to follow him, of hearing his own name whispered when no one was there. His final entry was chilling: the street is alive. It feeds on love, on loss. I fear I am next. There were no further entries. No records of Donovan after that date. It was as if he, too, had vanished. The deeper I delved, the more the line between reality and nightmare blurred. Walking through crowded streets, I would catch glimpses of her, my lost love, just ahead, turning a corner, disappearing into the throng. At night, my phone would ring, the same disconnected number. Silence on the other end, then the faint, unmistakable sound of her laughter. Shadows in my apartment seemed to move of their own accord, stretching toward me, whispering unintelligible secrets. Sleep became a stranger as I lay awake, heart pounding, fearing what dreams might come. Doubt gnawed at my sanity. Was I unraveling, consumed by grief and obsession? Or was there truly a darkness tied to that street, a malevolence that fed on love and longing? Friends grew concerned, their words laced with worry. "You're chasing ghosts," they'd say. But I couldn't let it go. I had to know. Had to find her. But with each step closer to the truth, I felt myself slipping further away from reality, from the man I once was. In seeking answers, I risked becoming another question mark in the legend. The street where lovers vanish had claimed so many. Would I be its next victim? The street where lovers vanish had ensnared my every waking thought. Each thread I pulled unraveled more questions than answers, leading me deeper into a tapestry woven with sorrow and mystery. In the dim glow of my study, surrounded by a labyrinth of notes and clippings, a pattern began to emerge, a chilling commonality among the vanished. Each disappearance was tethered to a lingering emotion, a love lost too soon, a regret unspoken, a bond severed by fate's cruel hand. These were not random vanishings, they were echoes of unresolved passions, each person drawn to the street by the gravity of their own heartache. As the clock hands converged at midnight, the silence of my room was pierced by the shrill ring of the telephone. With trepidation, I lifted the receiver, and there it was, a voice from the abyss of memory, tender and hauntingly familiar. It was her voice, the one that once whispered promises under starlit skies, now calling out from the void. The realization struck with the force of a tempest, the whispers that beckoned me on that cursed street, the phantom calls that shattered the midnight stillness, they were hers. The woman I had lost, the love that had slipped through my fingers like sand, was reaching out from beyond the veil. The street was not a mere portal to oblivion, it was a liminal space where the missing lingered, ensnared between worlds, waiting for those they left behind. The missing lovers aren't truly gone. They're waiting on the other side, bound by the chains of unfinished stories and unfulfilled desires. And now, I stand at the precipice, the line between the living and the lost blurring with each passing moment. This segment plunges deeper into the protagonist's torment, intertwining the supernatural elements of the street with his personal anguish, and setting the stage for the harrowing decisions that lie ahead. The night was thick with silence as I stood on that desolate street, the weight of unseen eyes pressing down upon me. My breath hung in the cold air, each exhale a fleeting ghost. Then, breaking the stillness, my phone vibrated, a message. The screen illuminated the darkness, revealing a text from her number, the one that had been disconnected since her disappearance. "You're so close. Keep walking." Heart pounding, I lifted my gaze, and there she was, standing beneath the flickering glow of the street lamp. Her smile was soft, familiar, yet tinged with an otherworldly aura. Drawn by an irresistible pull, I reached out, fingertips aching to bridge the chasm of loss. But as the distance between us closed, the street lamp's light wavered, casting elongated shadows that danced like specters. Before our hands could meet, the bulb sputtered and died, plunging the street into darkness. When the light returned, she was gone, leaving only the empty street and the echo of her presence. Some doors, once opened, can never be closed. And some love stories are never meant to end.